Diamonds Are Forever is the sixth and final official James Bond movie starring Sean Connery, and I'm very excited to give you guys my review for this movie. If you want to check out my reviews for the previous Bond films, I'll have a playlist so you can click on and go check those out. And be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Now with that out of the way, let's get into this review. So after On Her Majesty's Secret Service, George Lazenby decided not to return as James Bond, but they managed to convince Sean Connery to return one more time. And seeing him back was great, but I think his return was the most that this movie had going for it. It unfortunately was not great, especially after On Her Majesty's Secret Service, which I loved and is often considered to be one of the best James Bond movies. This was a big step down, and for me, one of the main reasons was this wasn't as much of a sequel to On Her Majesty's Secret Service as I think it should have been. I think they could have done something better. I've not read the book Diamonds Are Forever to know if they're sticking more closely to the source materials, although I'm pretty sure the release of the books was a different order from the movies. Like Casino Royale was the first book, whereas Dr. No was the first movie, so they weren't done in order to know if On Her Majesty's Secret Service and Diamonds Are Forever is sort of a continuous story. But the start of this movie sort of continued off On Her Majesty's Secret Service, where Bond is hunting down Blofeld, and for seeing the previous movie, you know it's because he had murdered his wife Tracy. Although Tracy's never actually mentioned in this movie, which for me was a mistake. And I think at this time the Bond movies were more episodic. They weren't continuous stories like the Daniel Craig era was. So the start of the movie sort of continued a bit of On Her Majesty's Secret Service. If you've seen that movie, you know it was continuing a bit, but it was just the opening before the title card and the song. That was it. I think this movie would have been better if it was more, the whole movie was more Bond tracking down Blofeld out for revenge. Maybe they could have found a way to get this diamond plot into it as well. But it just sort of felt, like Tracy was just forgotten. Like you'd think that'd be more important to Bond as a character. It's mentioned, I think, twice in some future films. For Your Eyes Only and License to Kill, I believe, are the two where there's a reference to Tracy. But so this movie doesn't really focus on that. It has Bond going after Blofeld at the start, and then Blofeld returns sort of midway through as the main villain behind this whole diamond smuggling thing. And that was one of my issues. Well, I liked the performance of Blofeld in this. I thought the actor did a good job. At the end of On Her Majesty's Secret Service, Blofeld's bald and I'm pretty sure paralyzed because of an injury he had, because I think the next time you see Blofeld after Diamonds Are Forever, it's For Your Eyes Only, and he's paralyzed in a wheelchair and bald. But in this movie, in between those two, he has hair and he's standing up perfectly fine. So that was sort of a bit of a continuity issue that always sort of bugs me. It's like, just didn't make sense to me. So in this movie, it's Diamonds Are Forever. There's a diamond smuggling plot going on where Blofeld's getting these diamonds to put onto the satellite, I guess, that can blow up missiles around the world or even attack cities, I guess. And compared to the previous films with Blofeld, this for me was the least interesting scheme of his. And just compared to a lot of the other previous films, like their overall premises and plots, this one just wasn't as interesting. The diamond smuggling just and a lot of this movie sort of felt like that. Like the things they were doing were fine, but just not on the same level as a lot of the previous movies. The Bond woman in this wasn't great. She was fine at times, but overall pretty forgettable. The Bond movies are known for their exotic locations, but most of this movie takes place in Las Vegas, and I'm not trying to knock Las Vegas, but that's not really what I think of when I think of exotic locations with, beautiful beaches or beautiful mountain ranges. Vegas is not what comes to mind. There are some fun sequences in this movie. There's a really fun car chase in Vegas with a really cool stunt. There's another nice chase just sort of outside of Vegas where Bond's driving this like vehicle that's supposed to be on the moon. That was cool. There's a nice fight in an elevator earlier on in the movie. That was good. And like I said, Sean Connery was back and he seemed like he was more invested in this film than he was in You Only Live Twice, which was good because he's a great Bond. So for me, Sean Connery being back was definitely the strongest part of this movie. Like I said, he seemed more invested in this movie than his previous one. And while he was a little bit older, a bit grayer, maybe put on a few more pounds, I thought he was still really good as Bond. Unfortunately, just the overall story sort of let him down. I thought this would have been better if it was more of a revenge story where the entirety of the movie was Bond searching for Blofeld for revenge. I think that may have been stronger and just made it more of an epic feel for Sean Connery's return to the franchise. But this is what they went with, and maybe they're being accurate with the source material. I'm not positive because I've not actually read the book Diamonds Are Forever. So yeah, and the final act too, the final confrontation was fine. There were some decent scenes, but it ended kind of abruptly. And just compared to some of the other final acts like Goldfinger, Thunderball, You Only Live Twice, and On Her Majesty's Secret Service, so a lot of the final acts really, it just felt kind of underwhelming. It was fine. It was fine. That's sort of how I thought of this movie. It was fine. You can watch it and enjoy it for the most part, but it's just okay. It's a more forgettable film in this franchise, and it's one I watch more when I'm doing a rewatch of the franchise instead of just, it's not one that I'm likely to just, oh, I'm just going to watch Diamonds Are Forever. It's fine. It's got some fun moments, like I said. There's some goofy moments, like you have Blofeld dressed as a woman at one point in this movie. And the henchmen in this movie, they stand out compared to some of the other ones because they're very different from the other henchmen or henchwomen in this franchise. Mr. Kidd, and I can't remember what the other one's name is, but they work for this movie. They sort of fit the tone. This movie's a little campier than some of the previous films, and they sort of fit that tone. So I thought they worked for the most part. Overall, Diamonds Are Forever, it's okay. I can watch it, have some fun, but it's one I'm going to forget, and it is kind of disappointing following On Her Majesty's Secret Service and being Sean Connery's return to the franchise. I will give Diamonds Are Forever a 65%. So not a bad movie, just a okay movie. It's fine. Well, thanks for watching my review, everybody. Stay tuned for some of my upcoming videos. I should have a review up for Season 4 of Stranger Things real soon, and I'll have some other videos coming soon too. So stay tuned for those, and until my next video, take care, everybody.